ACT skill number 35, what is the value of this angle between 0 to 360 when the sine of the angle is -1? So we're working with degrees here, and they should have little degree symbols. They're missing that, and that should be present. So on your calculator, please go to mode, go down to degrees, go across and over the top of degrees, and press enter. We have not learned this level of trig, and this comes actually after the ACT. It's the last unit of the year. But we can still figure out how to get these answers because it's multiple choice. So we want to know which one of these, when I plug it in for this angle, will the sine of that angle equal -1? So we're just going to try. You ready? Press clear. The key is you have to have in degrees. Let's do sine of 0, press enter. Does it equal -1? Cross it out. Sine of 60. Not equal to it. Keep going, please, until you get the answer, and then check with your partner, but don't say it out loud. Seconds to make sure your partner understands how to do that. Roberto, staying awake for me, please. Rodrigo, excuse me. Staying awake for me, please. Okay, we have the exact same concept right here. Press, don't do second plus 712, but press clear. We're the exact same concept. Do you see how this time they remembered to put the little degree symbols? Yeah. They should have done that last time so that you need to make sure it's in degrees. Okay, so which values between 0 and 360 degrees work so that when you take the tangent of that measurement of degrees, do you get 1? So do you see how 45 is in 4 of the 5 options? Okay, follow with me right now. Don't jump ahead. Let's try that. Tangent 45, press enter. Does it equal 1? So anything with the 45 circle. Now I see a lot of 135s and 315s. You guys see those? So I'm going to try 135 next. Let's try the tangent of 135. Does it equal 1? Anything with the 135, cross out. I'm going to try 350. Oh, there's a 135 down here. So now it comes between the two. Have one of you between the two partners try 225. Have one person try 315. Okay, are you ready? Can you please raise your hand if you understood how we did the example and how we did number 1? Hands up high. Blue Jay, do you have any questions? Okay. Then number 2 is going to be a little more difficult because I'm having you apply a law that you haven't even learned yet, but let me go over it with you. It's a very easy law to memorize. So I want one of the two of you just to read the first part to your group. Go ahead. Okay, now you need to make sure that you are writing down everything that I'm doing and you ask questions afterwards. Okay, ready? Absolutely no extra talking right now. We have a missing side here. Please put an X. You can use any variable you want. I know I want to add up all the way on the outside. Well, I have 2 of the sides. Please take 32 and 27 because I know I have 2 sides. What's 32 plus 27? 59. Okay, 59, 59, 59. Okay, cross OK. So law of sines, and see how it even gives you a hint. This is how law of sines works. It says we can set up ratios based on the angle and the opposite side. So for instance, let's write sine of 52 degrees over, so here is the angle. What is the opposite side of this angle? Directly opposite. What's the length? X. Now the next one we do, it doesn't make a difference. For instance, Roger could say 74 and Gilbert could say 54 and we'll get the same answer. Roger, choose which one you would rather work with. It's totally up to you. He prefers 54, so everybody write down the equal sign of 54 degrees over what is the opposite length of the angle 54 degrees? 27. Now if I asked you to solve for x, here's how you do it. You're going to use cross multiplying. Please don't get ahead. First you'd multiply these, 27 times the sine of 52, and then you'd multiply these, x times the sine of 54 degrees, right? And then you would divide. So you divide by the sine of 54. Now here's the deal. It's possible that Roger chose an angle that doesn't work. With the sine of 54, actually, with the law of sines, you always want to choose the larger angle first. But that's a concept because we haven't even taught this rule yet. So let's look up here. Do we see anything that says 27 sine of 52 over sine of 54? Yes or no? Okay, so now we're going to do this. We're going to do it again. But instead of putting a 54 here, I'm just going to be lazy, watch. What other angle could he have used? So, write 74 here, and it's over the length of 32. With law of sines, you want to choose the largest angle first when you get to choose between two of them. Okay, now, I have 32 times the sine of 52. 32 times the sine of 52. And then x times the sine of 74, divide by the sine of 74. Now do we have anything up there that says 32 times the sine of 52 over sine of 74? It is f. Going on to number 3. Again, a concept you have not learned yet. But we're not working at degrees when we actually graph, when we generally graph sine, cosine, tangent functions. So can everybody come up here and hit mode and go down to radian and press enter. Now go to y equals. So from what you know, let's go with what you know. You ready, guys? What do you think this says? Which way are you going to move this thing? To the right 2, correct? You're going to move it to the right 2. What does this say? Down 2. What does this say? Down 2. What does this say? Down 5. Okay? So we're going to start right now. This is right here. This is a curve. It's a trig curve. I'll tell you it's either sine or cosine. So we can cross out tangent. And a normal sine or cosine curve looks like this. The difference between sine and cosine is that it's been shifted either left or right by a certain amount. But it looks like this ongoing curve that looks like this. And we can see it's been shifted down, right? So we want to only consider things that have been shifted down. So let's cross out A and cross out B. I want the person on the left between you and your partner to plug this in. And the person on the right is going to plug this in. Now, when you plug this in, I'm going to help the person that's on the right. So if you are on the right between the two of you, you will follow my instructions. If you're on the right, Blue Jay, don't get ahead, please. Okay, person on the left, please plug this in. Here we go, person on the right. Okay, so we're going to hit cosine. We're going to do a parentheses first of all. Then a cosine. And what is in parentheses? X minus 2. And then how many parentheses have we started? So do 2 ending ones, and then subtract 2. Can I please have the partners on the left and the partners on the right compare what you have to see which one does this appear to be like? So I should see talking between the two partners. Is it C or is it D? again, this is difficult. By the way, you know what the good thing is? Out of the 60 questions you have, we've been going over trig for the last two skills. Of the 60 questions you have, only 4 questions are supposed to be about trig. Okay? Got that? So I'm hoping that maybe 2 will be like the last skill we did, maybe 2 like this. All right, this right here says whether you're moving left or right. This says whether you're moving up or down, like you've learned. The number in front says this curve that we have, it tells you how high the curve is going to go, how steep the curve is going to go, or how shallow the curve is going to go, okay? So as I describe this question to you, note that I only think maybe a quarter of you are going to understand because I haven't even taught the whole concept yet. That's what we do in Actually May. So it says if B, C, and D represent positive numbers, B, C, and D represent positive numbers, what is the minimum value of the function? Well, this describes where we're shifting it, right? So I know automatically we're going to shift it down. Now this number, which represents the amplitude, and the amplitude is going to represent the wavelength, how high it goes. Not the period length, but how high this goes. So from negative D, you're going to go 1 above it and 1 below it. That's going to describe how high it goes. So it says what is the minimum? So if I take this and I subtract 1, then this option would be K. If it said to me what is the maximum, then you'd add 1. Now why am I choosing 1? What number's hidden up front? If there would have been a 3 there, then you would subtract 3 and add 3. If there was a 4 up front, you'd subtract 4 and add 4.